This is the file browser in Photoshop CS. It's really been boosted up to become a mini application in itself, and this is invaluable for photographers. Notice in the main window we can see thumbnails of all the images. This is a really easy way to navigate the images. We can click on them and then we'll see a preview in the preview window. We can rotate the images just by clicking on an image and then select either clockwise or counterclockwise. And it will rotate the images so we can view them. Notice the little arrow, the circular arrow there, letting us know that that is rotated. It hasn't actually changed the file, but when we launch it in Photoshop, it will launch it in the correct orientation. That can save a lot of time. And we can also rotate more than one image at the same time, simply by clicking, holding down the Shift key, and clicking again, and that will select all the images in between the two click points. The other option is to hold down the Control key or the Command key on the Mac, and as we hold that down and click, it will toggle each image on or off the selection. So select a couple of these images, and then to rotate, just click the rotation button, and notice it'll rotate all the selected images. Very handy. Now, to find the images, we have two ways. Number one, we can go in the folder here, and we can navigate our way down, or we can go through the folders window here, and we can navigate through here to find our images. Now, you would have noticed it's pretty hard to see what's going on here because we have a very small window. Well, the good thing about Photoshop CS is that we can now click and drag in between any panes and resize these windows. We can even grab their titles, move them to different locations. And notice here that we've nested a couple together. Let's put that one back in the top. We can double click on the tab to close the windows. And now we can see our hierarchy a lot easier. There's a couple more options here. Under this window here, notice that we have Favorites folder and Recent folder. Let's go back to the Photoshop Secrets. That was a previous folder we were in. And here it is showing in this window, in the Folders window. If we want to add it to the Favorites, just right-click or Control-click on the Mac. Click Add Folder to Favorites. Go back to the top here. And under the Favorite folders, there we go, Photoshop Secrets. We can double-click to close that window. Now we have the preview window. Notice if we click on one of these windows, as we resize this pane, the preview itself will actually resize now. And this can be really handy if we want to look at the images like this, for instance. We want to scroll down and look at larger previews. As you can see, there's a lot of flexibility here with the new file browser. We can also change the sizes of these thumbnails that we're previewing. Simply by going View, notice we're on large thumbnail, we can change it to medium thumbnail. Or we can change it to small thumbnail, which is very handy if we're viewing this way. If we want to just preview the thumbnails and nothing else, we've got this little button here. We'll collapse everything except for the thumbnail preview. Let's go back to the medium thumbnails. There's another option, which is a custom view, where we can set the size that we're going to view. And to do that, we just change it in the preferences, and they're right here in this menu. Under Edit, Preferences. And that will take us into Photoshop's main preferences, and there's a whole section here for the file browser. We can set the minimum size here, where right now it's set for 100 megabytes. If I change it to 200 megabytes, it will ignore all the images above that size, and that'll speed things up a lot and also increases the stability of the file browser. Remember we looked at the recently viewed folders? We can change the amount here. And this is the custom thumbnail size. Right now it's set for 300. Let's change it to 200. That says 200 pixels wide. If it's high, it will also set it to 200 pixels. That'll be the maximum. There's two other options that I want you to be aware of really quick. Allow background processing. While this is unchecked, when we're out of the file browser, whatever's happening will be suspended, and then that memory will be used in Photoshop, and it'll free up the resources. If we check that button, we can launch the file browser, go back into Photoshop or somewhere else, and it's going to keep processing. That's great if you want to process a lot of thumbnails and you have a lot of memory, but it will slow down performance a little bit on a slower machine. High quality previews, we can turn that off. And if we turn that off, the previews in the preview window will load a lot faster and not be quite such high quality. But we'll keep that on and click OK. Now let's have a look at our thumbnails. Now that we've set them for 200, go to custom thumbnail size, and there they are. And we can change those sizes to be anything we want. We're going to do a few more features in the file browser in the next clip.